Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Today we're looking at the 1971 Edgewood Wildcat. And yes, even from this distance you can tell it needs a little bit of work. It does have a V8 1-carb 0HV engine, so it should have a little bit of power to it, but we did get this from the Junkyard for a total price of £6,986. That is going to tell you that it's not going to be in brilliant condition, but we are going to rebuild it to factory standard today. It's the first time I've done an Edgewood Wildcat, and we'll see where it can end up on our leaderboards. Now, where do we start? Well, actually, we're going to change things up. We're going to take out the seats inside first. We normally just do the engine and then go back to everything else, but we're going to change it up today. So, seats out first, and then let's have a look at the bodywork. Let's take all this off. Completely different to our usual way of doing things, I know. I just fancy the change. And there's not much to come off it, to be fair. It's missing a lot of parts. Have we got any wheels? I think there's a couple, not many. Which is a worry. No, there's only one rear light, no rear bumper. There's a wheel there, found one. A small window. Yeah, there's not much here, is there? Oh, there's one there as well. Okay, we've got a couple of wheels. Okay, now we'll lift it up, drain the oil, and go from there. But yeah, I just wanted to change up. Normally we stick to one routine. Just trying to change it up a little bit and do things maybe in a little bit of a different order, really, more than anything else. Okay, has it got any oil inside? No, but we had to check. You never know. So we can dismantle everything from underneath. So let's take the wheel off. I know we don't need to take the wheel off to get to the gearbox because it's a rear drive vehicle, but I just thought we'll take them off while we're here, mainly because also I wanted to make a note of what size the front wheels were and what size the back wheels were in case there was a difference. That was also something I was aware of. We can take bits off, it's not going to matter. We're going to need to dismantle everything anyway. I'm thinking of, we'll take the engine out as normal, but then we'll come back and dismantle the whole suspension, and then we'll put it all back together in one. That's kind of my plan. Hopefully it goes the way I want it to. So wheel bearing off as well. Front wheel hub. Front axle knuckle cover. Okay, I think we'll stop there for the minute. And we haven't taken as much off this side, so let's do the same this side, just to equal it up. I know it's very different to what we normally do, but I just fancied, yeah, different way of doing things. This may be a better way of doing it. I don't know. I'm kind of still in two minds. But it's nice just to vary it up sometimes and see what we can achieve this way. So the front axle knuckle cover off as well, and then we shall look at the drive shaft. This needs to come off for us to take us to gearbox. Change the view so this stand's not in the way. There we go. And our gearbox will now come off. There's no starter motor attached, so we don't have to worry about that. We do need to remember to buy one, but we'll come to that later on, I'm sure. Okay, exhaust needs to be disconnected. There we go. And that is it. The engine can now come out. So, we'll lower it down and bring over the engine crane. We will take the engine out, but like I say, we're going to dismantle the suspension before we fix the engine. Very different. So let's take the engine out. We are going to speed up the dismantling as well. Just to I'm still very conscious of how long these videos can be sometimes. I think speeding up some of these things definitely does help. So engine on the engine crane in the warehouse, and then we shall go back and dismantle all the suspension, and we'll see you when it's done. So we're just about there now. the rear leaf spring axle off. As you can see, there is nothing left inside the car. Not a bad job. This may speed things up, it may not, I'm not too sure. Let's have a quick look at the welder. We need to weld it anyway, and straight away it's going to look immensely better. Look like a whole new car. So the cost this time is £1,100. Not bad, and straight away it's just a completely different car. There is something we have forgotten to take off, and that's the fuse box, so we'll take that off while we're here. It's just something that's going to save us a bit of time later on. There we go. Fuse box done. So there's nothing else left inside this car anywhere now. That is it. That's double checking. Okay, so let's go and work on the engine, and then once the engine is done we'll go from there. This engine is quite a big one. As I said earlier, it was a V8 one carb engine. A lot of fiddly bits to take off, so we'll speed through the taking things off. And here we go. Okay, that is everything now taken off. We'll go away, fix everything, buy the parts we think we need, and we'll be back. And here we are. We've bought everything we've took from the warehouse. We've got a lot of parts done. Now, we are going to speed through the rebuild. There is a couple of points where I had to go and double check something in the warehouse if we had a part. So there'll be a couple of little transitions. I couldn't find the right transition to make it look fine, so bear with me on that one. But here we go. So we're just finishing off the engine now, and we are nearly there. We've just got the clips to go in on the side of the ignition. There we go. Both of those in place. They're easily forgotten, easily missed if you're not looking. We also need the serpentine belt on. There we go, and the fan. Anything else we need? I think that's it's just the gear stuff at the back, but I think it's just the fan. It's a nice looking engine, isn't it? So let's just buy the fan while we're here. I will say the V8s, or any of the Vs to be fair, do look nice engines. They're big. There's a lot of fiddly parts, they're very technical, but they do look good when they're done. Okay, just double checking there's nothing else. Don't believe there is. So we can put the flywheel back on. We've got the clutch plate and the clutch pressure plate. And then we've got the clutch release bearing to go on last. Here we go. And this is our completed engine. I believe we're done. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty. Even if you don't understand engines, you can look at them and go, okay, that's pretty good. So, take the engine off and we're going to go and get everything ready to replace the suspension and everything else. So we've fixed everything that we needed to, replaced what we needed to, and we're going to replace all the suspension now, put everything back together. We are going to speed through this as well. You saw us take it apart in sped up time. We'll do the same this time. So we'll see you when it's all done. So that is just about everything done. We now just need to do everything in the engine bay. It's all come together really nicely. As you saw, we'd already put the gearbox back in place, that's all done. Didn't really forget anything, I'm pretty sure. We do need to buy all the parts of the engine bay still, we haven't done that yet. Something we do need to do. We do have a fuse box base, so now we can actually label up all of the fuses and relays. That'll help us buy the right ones and not make any silly errors that I am prone to. There we go. So now we're just going to run through and buy everything. Most of it, when you buy from the junkyard, the perishable parts will be disappeared. So all the fluid containers will be gone, battery, anything that's perishable, you never find in the junkyard in a car. So you generally know you're going to need all those anyway. You're also the same with barn finds, to be fair. You're always missing the perishable items from them. And you could be lucky, you could have a complete fuse box. Doesn't mean they're going to be any good. And as we go for 100% rebuilds, we have to replace them no matter what. It's very rare to get fuse or relay that's any good in a car we're rebuilding. There we go, relay type C. Now I bet there's something I haven't bought for the engine bay. It's guaranteed. Have we got the cover? No. There was always going to be something we forgot. And it's the fuse box cover, there we go. Okay, is there anything else we need? Brake servo we've now got. The radiator can go on. It doesn't need a radiator fan housing because the radiator itself is the coolant housing, so we don't need one of those either. Here we go. Anything else here? I don't think there is. I think there's everything. It's always nice to have a quick look around just to be sure of yourself, just to be sure you've not missed anything, and I will miss things very simply. So, kind of messed up my view there, but I think we now can fill up all the liquids, and then bodywork is coming next, I suppose. I think we're at that point. Seems to have flown by so far. So the brake servo being filled up here. Battery's done. Just want to try and get in that, the angle round, that's the thing. The window screen washer liquid. I always called it the wrong thing, I don't know why. And the power steering fluid as well now. Now, have you spotted an issue? I know we've got an oil rack in, but once the oil's done, you're going to find we don't actually top something else up or put any liquid in something. Last video we did the same thing, we missed something, 10 points to anyone that managed to see it. This video, we're going to do the same thing. I don't know what it is, there's always something I forget to do, forget to fill up, I don't know what it is. But we've forgotten it again, so if you spotted what we haven't done, 10 points, add it to last week's total. But it will remind us to do it before we go to the racetrack. So we're not going to miss anything out, it's not going to affect anything. We'll always tell you before you leave for the racetrack anyway, so it's not a problem. It's just annoying. Okay, as you saw, all the insides are back in. Let's have a look at bodywork. Now, we haven't actually brought the bodywork, as you can see, by the bonnet. So we need to go round, mark up all the bodywork, know what we need to buy. Don't really know what we've got and what we haven't, to be fair. We haven't got much, I know that much. We also didn't have much in our warehouse either, and that's the issue. We normally would take from the warehouse. We've got 2 of the front left doors. Pick a colour, blue or pink. But we didn't have much. And obviously you saw not very much come off the car itself. I was surprised I didn't have more, to be fair. But there we go. If we don't have it, we don't have it. We're just going to make do with what we can. We did have a rear bumper. There we go, look at that. Straight in place. Don't have the rear lights. And we don't have the number plates. So we need to do those. Body window we'll need. We don't have the right door. So I think that's everything. So we can go to the body shop and buy everything we need. As we've labelled it all up. There we go, just working our way through the list. A lot of these are items you can't fix anyway, so like the lights, the glass. So because of that, we're going to have to replace them anyway. There's a few things that's annoying we didn't have in the warehouse, would have saved us some money. Would have helped a little profit there. But unfortunately we're going to have to buy everything new that we didn't have. And last one. And then number plates, we've just got to buy the last ones of those. That's a good point. I didn't buy anything for the front right door window. So there we go, door window done, and we need the side mirror as well. Didn't even spot it immediately. I kind of bought the door and didn't think about it until I was about to leave the actual section. Right, number plates, we just need to buy those. And then I believe we're done. I just wanted to have a look at the bonnets. There's a different bonnet you can buy in the body tuning shop. It doesn't affect how well the vehicle does anything, but I just want to have a look at it, just to compare it to the one we actually got. Mainly because the one we took off looked different to the one we were going to put on. Well, I thought it did. But the body work tuning shop doesn't actually affect performance or anything like that. They're just parts. What have I missed? Oh, license plates. Didn't ever go back to do this, did we? Right, license plates are there. Let's work our way around the car and put everything back on now. So left rear, tail light, small window, and then we have the left door windows and the left fender, window screen, bonnet, and front lights. So right front, is that left front? Left front. Front bumper, and then right front headlight. Number plate should be the last thing, I believe. And there we are. There is our Edgewood Wildcat rebuilt to factory standard. Now we're going to go off, paint it, do all the other stuff, and we'll see you in a second. And here we are. This is what I came up with. And it's an orange with a red tint, lines. I don't know how you call it. I think that looks really nice. Very old school, very bright, very colourful. And considering the car is from 1971, I think it does look really nice. Have a look inside and just make sure the inside looks good. Look at this. Don't look inside of the cars enough. I don't really pay that much attention to the insides, but it does look immaculate, doesn't it? Okay, so now it's time for the race. So, this is our 4th lap we're starting now. You can see the times in the top right. We were fairly consistent, to be fair. First lap standing start, next 2 we improved each time. This is our 4th lap. This was our fastest lap of the 5. I will let, not a spoiler, but the 5th lap, we were probably 1/100th of a second out of the best time we were doing this lap. So we were consistent, it was very close. The car itself, a little bit understeering, I would say. There was a few issues in the corners, the brakes weren't the best. And although it's got a nice big V8 engine, it has the grunt, but sometimes doesn't able to put it down on the track, I would say, is its biggest problem. But the older vehicles we have found previously that they struggle in the braking, they struggle in acceleration, but once they get going they're not too bad. But as you can see, braking heavily for this corner is quite tidy, it does hold it well. A little bit wide on exit, but we hold it together. So not too bad. So, long left-hander here. Trying to line up nicely. Bring it round. Feathering the throttle a little bit. Try and keep this on the track going as quickly as possible. Nice and tidy round there. Only a few more corners to go now. And yeah, the car isn't a bad car, to be fair. Interesting it'll be for the lap time away on the actual leaderboard. That'd be an interesting one. But as we finish off the lap, final corner to come, we are going to cross the line in a 1.50.143. That's 3rd on the lap leaderboard. That is very impressive for a car from 1971. Now, top speed, will it impress here as well? That's the interesting thing. Will the Wildcat live up to its name? Let us see. So we're going up pretty quickly. The V8 1-carb engine is doing its job. I knew it would be pretty good in a straight line. Getting up to 190 kilometers per hour over that, over a 200 kilometers per hour now. I don't think we're anywhere close to the record, but I think it's a very good top speed in general. So we're very, very close. 224, 225, 226. That's it. 226 kilometers per hour, which is 140.43 miles per hour, and 4th on our leaderboard. And that is it for the Edgewood Wildcat. It's an incredible car, really enjoyed driving it, and some very good performances on our leaderboards. Now, this car cost us £6,986 to buy. We also spent £15,546 fixing it. It give us a total spend of £22,532. We sold it, or will sell it, for £54,391. That's a profit of £31,859. That's a very good profit. About standard now for our cars, I would say. But that is it for today, and that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. If you are enjoying this series or any content on the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and a like on the videos does really help as well. we'll see you next time for our next rebuild.